and it is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, 9 a.m. This is a public meeting of the Board of Mortgage Loan Originators. We will now call this meeting into order. Let's begin by having the division director perform a roll call.
David Williams.
Here.
Aaron Saladay.
Here.
Shirley Thielen.
Here.
Natalie Lawson.
Here.
Josh Broadbeck is absent for this meeting, but you have a quorum.
Great.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the board minutes from September 17th, 2025?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
This, we have, sorry. We all are all in favor, and the motion passes. Next on the agenda are policy matters with Marcia Waters, Director.
So board members, the only thing that we have for you this month is your 2026 meeting calendar. You don't have to vote to adopt it. This is just so that you can mark your calendars for the upcoming meetings next year. And with that, is there anything that you would like placed on your agenda for the next meeting?
I don't have anything.
Nope.
Okay, great. All right, now it's time for public comment. Any person may bring their concerns about matters not on the agenda before the board. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks to 2 minutes unless additional time is requested by the board. Is there anyone who has signed up to speak or anyone wishes to speak at this time?
You, board members, if anyone from the public would like to address the board, you can please select the raise hand icon from the Zoom tools menu, and we will be unable to mute you. Or, excuse me, we'll be able to mute you. Put my prefix in the wrong place. I apologize. But with that being said, board members, I'm not seeing any hands at this time.
Okay.
So I'll pass it back to you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So this is Dave Williams, the Board of Mortgage Loan Originators, and it is November 19, 2025, and at this time, at 9:05, I move that the board enter into executive session pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24-6-402, 3A2, to address questions concerning the legal requirements for discipline and the legal requirements for licensure regarding investigative matters. C, complaint number 2025-1089. License matter B, complaint number 2025-1618. And license matter C, complaint number 2025-1314. I also move that the board also enter executive session to the Colorado Revised Statute Section 24-6-402, 3A2, discuss the pending legal action and Attorney General Matter A, complaint number 2025-718. And I will be recusing myself from Attorney Matter A. So I call for a motion to move into executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
We will be moving from the public now to executive meeting.
All right.
Oh, am I in the wrong one? Okay, sorry.
I think we're good.
You're in the right place. We're just waiting for board member Lawson to join.
Okay, so I thought. All right. The time is now 9:43. The board is now back in open session. We will now move on to complaint matters.
To board members, complaint matter A is case number 2025-392. This is an investigation that was performed by Paul Martinez. Around February 26th of 2025, the respondent's former employer reported to the division that during a self-audit, the company identified that the respondent closed one loan while his Colorado mortgage loan originator license was expired. The loan was originated on September 12th, 2024, and closed on October 8th, 2024. The respondent's Colorado mortgage loan originator's license expired on December 31st of 2023 and was reinstated on December 19th of 2024. Possible violations include 12-10-704, license required, 12-10-713-1Q, unworthiness and incompetence, and 12-10-713-1M, violation of any Part 9 or of any board rule. The recommendation for this case is a stipulation for diversion and a fine of $250, and Paul Martinez is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions?
No, this seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to accept the staff's recommendations?
Well, I think, I mean, personally, as a loan officer, you would need to know that you're doing a loan in Colorado and you would know your license was renewed. So I think I'm fine with it, but I think the fine should be a little bit stiffer. Probably like $500 in my mind, but that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that, but does it also get noted to the license if he ever does reapply? Because looks like maybe he doesn't need the Colorado license right now, but there might come a time in the future that he does need it, and it would be nice to have that noted.
So I don't know if it would be noted in the NMLS. I'm not that familiar with that system. We would obviously have it in our records for you all. But Paul, he does have a license currently, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Due to expire at the end of the year, but I don't know that he's going to pursue renewal after this expiration. But Board Member Lawson, if in the event that we do go forward with this discipline, we would certainly have record of it on our side. So if in the event that he reapplies, it's entirely possible that the application would have to go in front of you guys to make sure that the fines were paid and that the terms of the stipulation were completed.
Okay.
Great, perfect.
Okay. Do I have a motion to amend the previous motion?
I'll make the motion to include the possible violations of 12-10-704, license required, 12-10-7131Q, unworthiness and incompetence, 12-10-7131M, any part of 9 or rule violation, and our discipline recommendations would be diversion and a fine of $500.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The board members, complaint matter B is case number 2024-2113. Paul Martinez is the investigator. On April 7th of 2025, the respondent entered into a consent order with the North Carolina Department of Real Estate. The consent order called for a 3-month license suspension and a civil penalty of $1,000. The fine has been paid and the terms of the discipline have been completed. The respondent also disclosed a pending action in the state of Michigan, which has not yet reached disposition. Possible violations include 12-10-7131W, license suspended in another state, 12-10-7131A, misrepresentation or misleading advertisement, 12-10-7131C, misrepresentation or false promise, and 12-10-7131Q, unworthiness or incompetence. And there is no disciplinary recommendation on this one.
And board members, it looks like the discipline in Michigan was recently finalized. It was just uploaded to the NMLS registry on November 3rd after we had completed the report. But it does look like he agreed to a 3-month surrender of his license, a voluntary surrender. The stipulation is a no admit stip, but it still does have the 3-month license surrender.
That's pretty
Discussions?
minor.
That is.
That's really minor. I had a concern really that he did not seem to take any responsibility. Just kept saying, well, I just agreed to it. I just didn't want to go through the appeal process. But again, that's concerning to me.
He never took ownership of it.
Do I have a motion?
Well,
This is very familiar territory, it feels like.
yeah.
Yeah. But my problem is there was not a yes or no that I did this or I didn't do this. I just retook the testing because that obviously tells me that there was something in there anyways. And again, it's literally 8 hours of classwork. It is a lot of times I didn't have a test. So this stuff is very, very easy to get taken care of. And I totally agree with all the violations to myself. So, and I think that Michigan was pretty lenient, 3-month surrender of license for sure.
I think
So,
very lenient.
I mean, I think I would be leaning towards a surrender with something along the lines of, but for a little bit longer, and then a fine and diversion.
Yeah,
Want to make a motion?
do we have to be in the same lines of the other cases that we've seen like this, like to be consistent?
Yes, somewhat, but it's pretty similar, if we did it that way.
I think you do need to consider, though, any differences that can justify any deviation that you decide to make. I don't think you necessarily have to render the same discipline in every case if there are different nuances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, to restate, they've got these pretty good systems to show when multiple people are logged in at the same time. So it was, to me, fairly obvious in the evidence that someone took these tests for him. Or they took the classes, sorry. And again, no admittance of any kind of responsibility or anything like that. So I think that's a little different than some of the others that we've had as well. So that might justify doing something a little bit different.
Right.
I mean, I think I would be looking at something like public censure, diversion, a fine of $2,000 and a suspension. And then when suspended, they can come back and put another application in, and then we can review it at that point and see what it looks like.
So if you do a suspension, they don't have to reapply.
Do they not? Okay,
Just,
so it'd be a surrender then.
Yeah, there's a
okay.
period of time where they can't practice, and once it's completed, their license goes back into being on active status.
Thank you for that clarification, Marsh.
I definitely agree with a fine of at least $1,000. Is that what you recommended, Aaron, or 2,000?
I would do 2 because it's, it's a little bit more significant for sure, but that's my thought process with
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I like that.
Board members, we typically don't do stipulations for diversion with suspension because it's more formal discipline. So we would do a final agency order with a suspension.
Okay.
It puts the public on notice better, I think.
So final and surrender.
So surrender would be, he'd have to reapply.
He would be giving up his license.
Right.
Which is what they did in the Michigan case as well. So, okay.
Somebody want to make a
Oh,
motion?
Michigan, right. So they surrendered. Okay. But only for 3 months. So then he would reapply. I think we should do a year.
I like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to make a motion, Shirley?
I'm not really sure what we agreed to.
$1,000 fine or 2,000 fine and
Yeah.
1 year surrender, or are we doing suspension?
I would do the surrender.
Okay.
I
That's what-
agree.
Because if we do the suspension, like Dr. Waters said, it would just basically time frame stop and then it would start back over. With the surrender, you have to reapply.
Okay.
Right. I think reapplying is more important.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And with that, so that it would be a final agency order. Do you want to add public censure as well?
Yeah, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want me to restate the motion?
No, I'll make the motion. I think I have it. Tell me if I'm correct. We'll do our motion I would like to make is have a final agency order with public censure, a fine of $2,000 and a surrender of license for 1 year.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Board members, complaint matter C is case number 2025-1089. This is another investigation from Paul Martinez. On May 5th of 2025, the respondent entered into a consent order with the state of Minnesota Department of Commerce. The order called for a revocation of the respondent's Minnesota mortgage loan originator license and a $585 fine. The fine was paid on April 28th of 2025. This discipline was not disclosed to the division within 30 days, but is reflected in the respondent's NMLS records. Possible violations include 12-10-7131Q, unworthiness and incompetence, 12-10-7131M, violation of any Part 9 or rule violation, 12-10-711-2A1, mortgage license revoked in any jurisdiction, 12-10-7131W, license suspended or revoked in any jurisdiction, and then board rule 5.23D, within 30 days notifying the board of a license revocation in another jurisdiction. The disciplinary recommendation is for a final agency order, a revocation of the license, and a fine of $5,000. And Paul is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Board members, still no discipline in Michigan showing up in the NMLS registry.
Thank you.
Any other discussions? All right. Do I have a motion to accept staff's recommendation?
I move that we accept staff recommendations for this license matter.
I'll
Do I
second
have a
that.
second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. We will now move on to licensing matters.
All right, good morning. Licensing matter A, it's actually an application. The agenda says preliminary advisory, but this one is an application. This is complaint number 2025-1495. On February 10th, 2022, the applicant was convicted of criminal trespass to land, retail theft, a misdemeanor. The applicant was sentenced to 3 months probation and the case is closed. On May 6, 2022, the applicant was convicted of criminal trespass to land, retail theft, a misdemeanor. The applicant was sentenced to 6 months with conditional discharge, and the case has been closed. As usual, there's no recommendation, and Investigator Quintana is here to answer any questions you may have.
I liked that this guy did take accountability for his actions. And
Looks like he got into treatment and there's been some letters of recommendation from the treatment facility too, that he's been
Mhm.
actively staying in the program.
Yeah, I think he's just a little under 2 years, I think, in the facility and has been clean for a year, which I think that's a little short time frame, but maybe with a license, you're less likely to relapse because you don't want to lose the license. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I got it. I'm going to work really
More
hard.
at risk for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have the option, mortgage loan brokers we don't have the option of having a supervised license. That's not an option, is it? Am I remembering correctly?
I
No.
believe in the past, we did ask for that. It was like a 6-month probationary one, but it's not like a real estate where you actually have a broker owner
Right.
and someone right above you that would be part of that. But you would still have your support staff with your processors and reps and stuff like that.
But you'd have that anyway, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these ones are difficult because we don't really have that oversight too much.
Right.
But that's what we're here for, right? Because if something does go bad, then it comes back in front of us. So.
Yeah, I mean, I really commend him for getting his life together and everything that he's gone through, and basically,
Right.
admitting what he did and all of
Yeah, he
that.
came
So,
clean. I think I agree. He came clean and took
Mhm.
responsibility and did
Mhm.
something to change that.
And
Yeah.
I want to commend him for just going, hey, I need to change myself, and I love it. I just love it. There's a
Yeah.
lot that are not taking care of themselves and taking control of what they've done in ownership. And so, in
Yeah.
my opinion, I would actually have a positive opinion for this as a pre-licensure
Okay.
kind of a thought process.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I agree with Natalie. It's a short time frame, so I do have some hesitation there, but
that will come back to us again, right? If something does happen.
Yeah. How long can we do a probationary license for? Does anybody know?
So that's completely up to you, but this is an application. It's not a PAO.
Oh, is it an application? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
But
So
what is that? I guess I don't understand the difference. Sorry.
I don't really think that there is, because there's not really a probationary license. They either have a license or they don't. If there was something that would happen, it would come again and be the board under a disciplinary portions, if I'm understanding correctly.
So the difference between the two is a preliminary advisory opinion is the applicant is asking the board to give them some idea that based on self-disclosure, if the board would issue a license to them. They haven't actually submitted a license application. With a license application, we are making sure that they have gone through fingerprinting, they've done the education, they have submitted the application and paid the fee. And one of the other differences between a license application and a preliminary advisory opinion is if you were to deny somebody on a license application, they can take that to hearing, whereas with a preliminary advisory opinion, they can't take that to hearing, but what they could do is turn around and submit an actual application.
Okay.
but this says it's an application.
So this one
Correct.
is an application.
Okay.
This person wants a license.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, if you met all the other requirements, I would be fine for it.
For the
Okay.
probationary, or we could still do
license-
probationary for a year, right?
No, it sounds like we can't do probation.
No.
You can still, on a license application, if you want to grant them an application and it's going to, or grant them a license and have them on probation for a period of time, what we would do is then issue a restricted license because it would be under the terms of you're on probation for X amount of time. You wouldn't do probation on a preliminary advisory opinion necessarily. It's on the actual license.
Got it.
Okay.
Or
And
even 6 months, just to like make it that much more like savory when he does get the full license. Like, yes, I went through the 6 months probationary and now I got it and I'm golden, you know?
I like that idea.
Okay. So do I have a motion in case number 2025-1495?
I move that we approve this applicant's license application with a probationary license for 6 months to become permanent and unrestricted, assuming there are no issues.
Do I have a second?
I
I'll
second.
that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes.
All right, licensing matter B, this is a preliminary advisory opinion. This is complaint number 2025-1618. On May 1st, 2001, the applicant was convicted of possession of 1 ounce or less marijuana, a petty offense. The applicant was sentenced to a $68 fine and 16 hours of community service. That case is closed. On November 6, 2019, the applicant was convicted on 2 counts of Article 112A, use of cocaine. The applicant was sentenced to 6 months confinement and a forfeiture of pay. This case is also closed. No recommendation, and Investigator Quinton is here to answer any questions you may have.
So there was, I do have a question. There were no felonies, correct? It was all the misdemeanors, correct?
Correct, they are not felonies.
Thank you.
And they were a long time ago, in my opinion. And he did take accountability and wrote, you know, like, hey, this is what I did, and I've moved on from it, and nothing has happened since.
And the Air Force did, give him his retirement too.
Yeah, they did honorable discharge with him. So.
Right. Yeah. So they kind of changed that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would-
He went through the outpatient therapy. I
Right.
would be
Marijuana
inclined.
isn't, yeah, the marijuana charge isn't even a crime in today's world, I don't believe. So
Correct.
I
Not
would
in
have no
Colorado,
problem
yeah.
approving his license.
Okay. So
I
do I
agree.
have a motion in case number 2025-1618?
I would motion to approve the license, but it's not really a license application, so I don't know. Is that how we say that
It
one?
is it is a license.
You could do approval, positive opinion, something like that. So that way you
Yeah.
could do the license.
It would be for
Okay,
a positive or negative opinion that you guys would be determining in this one.
So I would motion to state that we have a positive opinion.
That's
Yeah.
And
Okay.
matter B.
All right. Do I have
I'll
a second?
that.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, licensing matter C is also a preliminary advisory opinion. On July 18th, 1985, applicant was convicted of felony wire fraud. The applicant was sentenced to 3 years jail, 2 years parole, and a fine of $1,000. The applicant has completed all terms successfully. The case is closed. Additionally, at the June 2020 Colorado Real Estate Commission meeting, the applicant's license was disciplined for recording a listing agreement with the county in order to receive commission. And all terms of that stipulation are completed. There's no recommendation, and Investigator Quintana can answer any questions.
Well, I know in this fact, if there was the felony of the fraud, we have to have revoke and we cannot approve a license based off of 12-10-711-2A1 as well as 12-10-711-2B1. So I don't think there's any way we'd have to do a denial of a positive opinion on this one, just for what we have written.
Agreed.
Correct. Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we deny the opinion, or we do a negative opinion on the approval based off of 12-10-711-2A1 and 12-10-711-2B1 with prior felony wire fraud.
And board members, just to interject really quickly, apologies, but 12-10-711-2A1 is states that the board shall deny an application for a license if the applicant had a mortgage loan originator license or similar license revoked in any jurisdiction.
Pardon me.
I just wanted to clarify
Okay,
that.
but
Yeah.
2B1 is okay though.
Yes, 2B1 says the board shall deny an application for a license if the applicant at any time has been convicted or pled guilty to a felony involving an act of fraud, dishonesty, breach of trust, or money laundering.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that clarification. I will amend the previous. I will just deny opinion or negative opinion based off of 12-10-711 2B1.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Board members, licensing matter D is case number 2025-1513. This is an application for licensure. On November 15th of 2017, the applicant entered into a settlement agreement and a consent order with the state of Maryland's Commissioner of Financial Regulation. The applicant was ordered to pay $7,500 in fines and investigative costs and $21,800 in restitution. The Maryland Commissioner of Financial Regulation was contacted for verification, but has not yet confirmed payment of fines, fees, and restitution. Paul Martinez is the investigator on this, and we don't have a recommendation for you.
And board members, just an update. I did finally hear back from Maryland. Let me just read you the information that was provided. So the Assistant Director of Enforcement had indicated that their records show that the case was closed on November 14th, 2016. The respondent paid all applicable fines, and while their internal notes suggest that the restitution was also paid, they're unable to verify that with certainty because the relevant documentation falls outside of their record retention period. But that was the statement as provided by Maryland.
Thank you. That was my question.
Did I read somewhere though that he's barred from practicing in Maryland permanently? Did I read that?
I don't believe so. He hasn't reapplied for a license there. But I didn't see any language in the stipulation indicating that he's permanently barred. No.
Oh, where did I pick that up? Okay.
Because this was essentially, he was a part owner of a company, and the company had done some loan modifications in 2015. Looks like it was done. The employees were not licensed. The disciplinary documents don't indicate that he had actually performed modifications, just that he was a co-owner of the company.
Right. Paul, do you remember when modification companies had to become licensed? I think it was
Absolutely. It was right around this time, and there was sort of a gray area. I remember doing quite a bit of the loan modification investigations when we first started seeing everything pop up in Colorado. And you're correct. It was right around this time. There were quite a few companies that were unclear on there being a licensing requirement. And I think nationwide, that seemed to be sort of an issue. We saw several people that were disciplined for not holding a loan originator license, but conducting loan modifications. And I do believe that the requirement for licensure did come sometime around 2015 as well.
Yeah, it seemed like it was 2015 to me. So, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, it does sound like, based on his statement, that he received bad legal advice to hiring an attorney that wasn't specialized in that state. So,
Right.
I mean, that doesn't excuse you, but I can understand the situation.
My only concern with him is he finds himself in a lot of situations over and over and over, and it just seems more like a trend.
Am I wrong? Was this I want to say that this was the only discipline that we had for this
I think
individual.
there was the driving violations and
Driving.
stuff that he had.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
In 22 and 23, which is pretty recent, I think, driving while under suspension. There was a domestic violence.
Oh, yeah. Traffic offenses are not something that we would look at. So These aren't mentioned in the report because they weren't prosecuted. So ultimately, if something doesn't result in a prosecution, we can't actually list it in the
Oh,
report.
okay.
Originally, they were included though, Board Member Lawson, and
Okay.
because of the fact that they didn't result in anything, we had to pull them out of the report. So
Got
I
it.
don't know if those are a good basis to use for a possible negative decision.
Fair.
I think my really only one question that I wanted to know was the fines and if the restitution had been paid. I would really love to know if the restitution was paid, because that would really settle me a lot. Because I know I've been in this business for a long time, and I remember when those guys were popping up with the modifications, they were doing a lot of the pay me now and then disappearing. If the
Right.
restitution was paid, that would make this really easy for me.
Yeah, and he did indicate that everything had been paid. Unfortunately, Maryland was extremely slow to get back to us, and when they did get back to us, they didn't have everything that we were looking for. But if it would seem inconsistent if the fine was paid, but the restitution wasn't paid. And I guess to kind of to the favor of the applicant, Maryland did not indicate that we don't have any record of the restitution not being paid, just that we can't see it in our system, but our records retention policy would not have allowed for that anyway because of the age of the case. So
If they didn't have the record anymore, it would seem though that it was like, okay, it was paid, then let it go. If it wasn't paid, you would think it would be something they would kind of refile.
you might
You would
see
think.
some sort of civil action pursuit or
Right.
Or
some
something.
sort of something additional. But she did also indicate that it was closed. So you would think that if the restitution had not been paid, the case would not have been closed. But she gave us, let me give you the exact date again. Closed on November 14th of 2016.
Thank you.
No problem.
Based off of that, I mean, I would probably, as long as everything else went out, I'd probably do an application and, probably approve it with some kind of a 6-month stipulation as well, like we did with the previous one.
Okay. So do I have a motion in case number 2025-1513?
Is everybody else okay with that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the application in 2025-1513 with a 6-month probationary. And then after that, if everything is great, it'll be moved to full status.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We will now move on to the ESP matters.
The board members, you don't have any ESP matters today.
Oh, we don't? Oh, okay. All right. So then we will move on to the AG matter, and I will recuse myself from this discussion.
And actually, you already dealt with this in executive session.
Okay.
So
Okay, well, there we go.
unless you have come up with some agenda items for your next meeting during the course of this one, you are safe to adjourn.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. The motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thank you all for your
Have a
help
good
and
couple of
work.
months.